Hello, and welcome to Booklist Spring 2026 Graphic Novels and Manga Preview. I'm Kelly Ferreira, Booklist's Book for Youth Associate Editor. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. Today's slide presentation and title list were included in the reminder email you received from Zoom 1 hour ago. To download them, please open that email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download the slides and title lists by typing the URLs on this screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a section for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions, and we'll pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable them on your screen, please look for and click the Show Captions icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of them at any time by selecting Caption Settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates the standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately removed. So today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Olivia Hanson, Senior Trade Marketing Specialist at McMeel Publishing, Carrie Taylor, Marketing and Publicity Coordinator at Levine Querido, and we're also joined today by the Yen Press team, Morgana Santilli, Sales Specialist, and Ingrid Lorenzi, Sales and Marketing Coordinator, and Jennifer Chan, Executive Director, Sales and Marketing at Fantagraphics Books. We will kick things off with Olivia Hanson. Olivia joined the team at Andrew McMeel 4 years ago and is currently the Senior Trade Marketing Specialist. She's happily fulfilling her lifelong dream of working in publishing. Outside of work, you can find her collecting houseplants, reading from her huge TBR pile, and cuddling with her cat. Thanks for being here, Olivia.
Thank you for that introduction. Hi, everyone. I am Olivia with Andrews McMeel, and I am going to dive right into some adult graphic novels that are great YA crossover titles. Next slide, please. Up first, we have Bloody Mary, a hauntingly beautiful graphic novel that tells the life of Mary Tudor from her earliest memories as Henry VIII's daughter to her rise as England's first reigning queen. Told entirely from Mary's perspective, this richly illustrated watercolor narrative humanizes the controversial monarch often reduced to her nickname, Bloody Mary. Next slide. With historical quotes, dramatized events, and a focus on the emotional toll of power, author Christina German paints a vivid portrait of a woman shaped by rejection, faith, and loneliness. Next slide. It's a powerful, intimate look at royalty, religion, and the cost of the crown. And this book was recently named as a GN-CRT 2026 YA Nonfiction Honor Book. Next is My Perfectly Imperfect Body by beloved cartoonist Debbie Tung. This is a deeply personal and beautifully illustrated memoir about her lifelong journey with body image. With honesty and tenderness, she recounts her teenage struggles with dieting and disordered eating, the pressure to be thin, and the emotional toll it took. Next slide, please. Through gentle comics and heartfelt storytelling, Debbie explores how she slowly learned to treat her body with kindness and love. Next slide. This relatable and empowering book offers a safe space for anyone navigating self-acceptance in a world obsessed with perfection and reminds us that every body is worthy just as it is. And this book was also recently named as a GN-CRT 2026 YA Nonfiction Honor Book. Next is Red and the Wolves, a dark, sapphic graphic novel retelling of Little Red Riding Hood that's perfect for fans of Through the Woods, Blackwater, and Squad. This adaptation takes the classic fairy tale and transforms it into an atmospheric apocalyptic fantasy. Red is reimagined as a fiercely loyal hunter protecting her witch grandmother from the monsters plaguing their forest. Everything changes when she meets Syl, an injured wolf girl, and their growing relationship reveals sinister truths about Red's world. Next slide, please. The book blends queer romance, fairy tale horror, and stunning artwork, ideal for adult graphic novel readers, LGBTQ plus patrons, and anyone who loves modern retellings. Next slide, please. The creator Cherry Zong is a Chinese-Canadian illustrator known for her work with Marvel, Disney, and DreamWorks. Plus, this book just received a Booklist starred review, calling it a great balance of darkness, whimsy, action, and emotion. Next is While That We're Alive, a warm, funny, and quietly profound collection of diary comics by award-winning poet and artist Lauren Haldeman. This book offers a beautifully strange and tender look at everyday life. Next slide. The collection follows her family, 3 humans, 3 cats, and 1 dog, through a year of ordinary moments made extraordinary. Depicting herself as a wolfish momboy, she captures the chaos, sweetness, and weirdness of modern life, particularly the experience of parenting as a partnership between 2 imperfect roommates just trying their best. Next slide. This book is a balm for stressed parents and a wonderful pick for readers seeking comfort, laughter, and a reminder to marvel at the ordinary. Next is High Class Homo's Book 2, the second volume in Momo Zeri's wildly popular romantic comedy series, perfect for fans of heartstopper, fairy tale twists, and laugh-out-loud LGBTQ plus graphic novels. This installment follows Princess Sophia and Prince August, 2 royals who decide to fake an engagement to escape their unwanted suitors and pursue their real crushes. What follows is a charming blend of castle intrigue, romantic hijinks, and delightfully absurd high-class chaos. Next slide, please. In Book 2, Sophia and August juggle royal balls, questionable outfits, new friendships, and their ever-complicated love lives. Will their families approve the engagement? Will August finally confess to Percy? Will Sophia stick with Marla or fall for someone new? Next slide, please. High Class Homos Book 2 is a joyful, inclusive, high-energy rom-com that's ideal for YA and adult readers, LGBTQ plus collections, and anyone who loves fairy tale fun with a modern twist. Next is Lindsay Chang Did the White Boy, a highly anticipated graphic rom-com debut from viral animator and rising cartoonist Asia Miller. This story follows Lindsay Chang, a college freshman juggling her bandmates, her overprotective Chinese-American mom, and her new and very charming indie rocker boyfriend, Jason. As her friendships shift and new tensions enter the band, Lindsay begins navigating love, identity, and independence, and ultimately starts learning what it means to choose herself. Next slide, please. With its authentic AAPI representation, relatable Gen Z dating dynamics, and a warm, funny exploration of college life, this book is perfect for YA readers aging into adult graphic novels, fans of romantic comedies, and anyone who loves stories about friendship, music, and self-discovery. Next slide, please. This is a heartfelt, funny indie rock rom-com that's sure to resonate with readers looking for charm, personality, and emotional honesty. Now, moving on to the children's side of things, many of our YA and middle grade books are available in hardcover and paperback. Where applicable, we list hardcovers on the slides, but if a paperback is also available, it's included in the title grid that we provided to Booklist. So this is SideQuested, the start of a brand new YA fantasy series from author K.B. Spangler, based on the hit webcomic of the same name. Our story follows Charlie Goldskin, an inspiring librarian who wants a quiet, magic-free life until she's dragged to the royal court, where she finds herself caught in a very chaotic love triangle with a prince and his fiancée, the daughter of a powerful witch. To sort out the drama and uncover the true source of magic, the teens are sent on a kingdom-spanning quest. Next slide, please. The book has already earned strong praise. Kirkus notes its original medieval-esque setting, sharp humor, crackling dialogue, and budding romance. It's a fun, diverse, character-driven fantasy with big appeal for YA readers who love adventure and emotional warmth. Next slide. SideQuested is a joyful, queer-inclusive, magic-filled romp that promises lots of laughs, lovable characters, and an enchanting series kickoff. And Book 2 is scheduled for spring 2027. Next is Latina Superheroes Volume 2, the second installment in the powerful YA graphic novel series that blends the energy of the Marvel Universe with the lived experiences, resilience, and brilliance of Latinx women. The mission behind Latina superheroes is simple but vital: to show girls from all backgrounds that heroes don't have to look like the traditional mold. Each heroine in the A la Brava universe confronts real-world injustices facing women today. Next slide, please. This volume features two impactful stories: Lokita, who enters a supernatural mystery after seeing a ghost, and Ruka, who returns to East LA to investigate missing kids and confront human trafficking. Next slide, please. This series highlights the strength, identity, and unity of Latina women through authentic, character-driven storytelling. And great news for selectors and YA librarians. Volume 1 was recently named to ALA's 2026 Rise of Feminist Book Project list, adding important credibility and discoverability. And Volume 3, the final installment, comes this August. Next is Aurora, Volume 2, the second installment of the beloved YA fantasy webcomic by Red of Overly Sarcastic Productions. To quickly refresh the premise, the series opens with a cosmic scale disaster. An immortal sorceress called the Collector destroys the shining city of Vash, defeats the god Vash himself, and steals his soul. But Vash's empty body mysteriously awakens with a brand new consciousness, Kindle, who becomes our central hero. Determined to rescue the god whose body he inhabits, Kindle sets off on an epic quest to stop the Collector's plan. Next slide. Volume 2 picks up after the dramatic events of the first book. Kindle and his found family companions travel to new cities, uncover new secrets of the Void Dragon, meet new allies and enemies, and continue their high-stakes search for Vash's stolen soul. The series blends adventure, humor, heartfelt character moments, and richly imagined world building. Next slide. Aurora Volume 2 is a heartfelt, adventurous, character-driven fantasy perfect for fans of found family stories, webcomic readers, and anyone who loves richly built magic worlds with emotional stakes. Next is Speed Reader, a brand new action-packed middle-grade graphic novel series created by the team behind Cat Ninja. Our main character, Xander Fast, is always last. Last to finish reading, last to complete assignments, last to make it to the bus. But everything changes when Xander receives a mysterious book in the mail. Suddenly, he has the super speed and the popularity he's always dreamed of. Next slide, please. As Xander and his best friend Tanya May, along with his loyal dog Spike, navigate middle school and new superpowers, they also have to save their hometown from a mind-controlling villain intent on turning Cape City upside down. It's fast-paced fun with classic superhero flair, clever humor, and a heartwarming message about self-esteem, problem-solving, and learning that speed isn't everything. Next slide, please. This series is an excellent pick for developing readers. It features a hero who starts out as a slow reader himself, making it especially relatable and encouraging for kids still building reading confidence. And Book 2 arrives summer 2027. Next is Operation Make a Splash, the second book in this sweet, wholesome, full-color graphic novel series. Book 1 received excellent reception, including a starred review from Kirkus, which called it hilarious, perceptive, and thoughtful. Publishers Weekly praised its vibrant color and dynamic, youthful exuberance. Book 2 continues that charm with strong themes of individuality, friendship, confidence, and being true to yourself. This installment follows our trio of friends through 3 separate but interconnected storylines. Sai tries to prove he's a pro gamer, Nick collaborates with his music idol, and Violet accidentally stars in a drama camp play instead of comic camp. Next slide, please. It's warm, funny, and relatable, with plenty of color and energy to keep developing readers engaged. Next slide. Book 2 celebrates positivity, creativity, and friendship, showing kids that everyone grows at their own pace and that being yourself is always the best path forward. A great fit for young readers, classroom libraries, and anyone who loves upbeat graphic novels with big heart. Next is Legends in the Heights, a warm, imaginative, middle-grade graphic novel from Palestinian-American cartoonist Marguerite Debay. This story blends the magic of multicultural folklore with everyday challenges of growing up. Next slide. The story follows Rhea, a middle schooler who often feels like the odd one out. Everything changes when she meets Bazoo, a mythical burqa who offers her a window into a magical world in exchange for skateboarding lessons. Together, they explore a vibrant, harmonious realm of mythical beings from many cultures. As Rhea dives deeper into this magical realm, she begins drifting from friends and family and must learn to balance imagination with real life. Next slide, please. The book also includes fantastic back matter, a glossary of legendary creatures with cultural context, bonus illustrations, and a heartfelt author's note that enriches the reading experience. Legends in the Heights is a joyful, inclusive graphic novel perfect for fans of magical adventures, folklore, and stories about finding your place in the world. Next is The Spark Experiment, the first book in a brand new full-color sci-fi adventure graphic novel series that makes STEM fun, accessible, and wildly entertaining. It's perfect for fans of science fiction, hands-on learning, and fast-paced adventures. When David and Marta discover a science experiment gone wrong, they're transported into the micro-universe and accidentally bring back energy-draining negatrons. Next slide, please. To save their town, David and Marta and Spark must use both creativity and curiosity alongside 18 real DIY science experiments that readers can try at home. Each experiment is woven directly into the adventure, and the back matter offers videos and extra tips to help kids recreate the science safely. Next slide. This is an energetic, STEM-boosting graphic novel perfect for classrooms, makerspaces, and any kid who loves science, adventure, or just a really good story about using your brain to save the world. Next is Atomic Lucas, a laugh-out-loud, full-color graphic novel written by the author of the Diary of an 8-Bit Warrior graphic novels. This is a light magic adventure with big, relatable themes: growing up, managing emotions, and discovering that getting your wish isn't always what you need. This book is especially great for emerging and reluctant readers. It features a dyslexia-friendly font, bright, full-color art, fast-paced episodic storytelling, and plenty of humor to keep kids turning pages. Next slide, please. The story centers on Lucas, who comes from the eccentric atomic family, where each child gets to use a powerful magical artifact, the Gloomstone, on their 13th birthday. Lucas can't wait, but when his parents decide he's not ready, he takes matters into his own hands and borrows the stone early. His playful wishes quickly spiral into magical chaos. Next slide. Lucas hopes life will return to normal after the wish fiasco. Instead, his vengeful great-great-great-grandfather returns from the past to reclaim the Gloomstone, which is now stuck inside his friend, whose unstable powers make her a walking magical disaster. Atomic Lucas is a fun, warm-hearted fantasy adventure about responsibility, friendship, and the hilarious pitfalls of unchecked wishes, making it a fantastic choice for young readers who love magic, humor, and high-energy storytelling. And last but not least is Finnick the Furious, a brand new graphic novel that's equal parts laugh-out-loud adventure, prehistoric chaos, and heartfelt sibling story. This is the first book in a new series about Finnick, a chaotic, determined caveman kid who dreams of becoming a legendary monster hunter just like his parents. The only problem? He's been told to stay home and babysit his baby sister instead. His solution? Bring her along. When Tina gets snatched, Finnick's goofy quest becomes a real rescue mission, and he learns that true heroism means protecting the people you love. Next slide, please. What makes this book so delightful is the way it balances high-energy monster action with a genuinely sweet story about family, responsibility, and growing up. Readers will laugh, gasp, and root for Finnick as he discovers that being a hero isn't about glory. It's about caring for others. Next slide, please. This graphic novel is action-packed, funny, heartfelt, and full of prehistoric peril. An instant hit for young readers who love adventure, humor, and sibling shenanigans. And that wraps up my portion. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Olivia. We'll now hear from Carrie Taylor. Carrie is Marketing and Publicity Coordinator at Levine Querido. Originally from Northern California, Carrie attended Scripps College and held positions at Holt, Inkwell, and educational nonprofit 826 Valencia before joining Team LQ. She is passionate about sharks and children's horror literature. Thanks for joining us, Carrie. The floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Kelly. And the sharks are more relevant than you think because we're starting out with Ami Moon and the Galactic Peacekeepers, book one of a graphic novel trilogy for chapter book age readers. This is about a girl named Ami teaming up with her beloved crew of peacekeepers on missions across the galaxy, all while she tries to get back to Earth and the mom and dog she left behind. Right there, you can see her little crew, Rosa the shark with a teeny tiny stature and a huge aggressive personality. Sumo, who's the largest in their crew and is very shy and quiet, and Ami herself right in the middle there. Next slide, please. These are funny and fast-paced storylines. They're told in little vignettes of her and the Peacekeeper's adventures in space. Perfect for reluctant middle grade or chapter book readers. They're very quick, but they link together into one big story. Next slide, please. We like to say this is a blend of classic Star Trek and 2010s era Cartoon Network shows. Booklist compared it to Steven Universe, which I think is very apt, and of course, eternally popular. Next slide, please. Booklist also says it is a sweet and stellar read that is sure to be a success with upper elementary and middle school readers. Kirkus calls it a vibrant, quirky, out-of-this-world journey, and it is quirky. It's super, super fun. Next slide, please. As I said, it is the first book in a planned trilogy following Ami's journey to be reunited with her mom. Next slide, please. Frances Lee is the creator, this is her debut, and she is a tattoo artist with an Instagram following. In fact, she just sent us over some temporary tattoos of the 3 main characters that we will be looking for a strategy to distribute. So there will be stickers and temporary tattoos available for Ami Moon and the Galactic Peacekeepers. Next slide, please. This is the Froggy Library. This is a debut book, but Julie Fiveash has been working in the comics underground scene for a long time, while also being Harvard's first librarian focused on American Indigenous studies. They are Dine. This is a book about Native people, and it's not really ever explained. It just is. This one young frog, Anura, is spending the summer back on their family homeland with their grandmother, working at the local library. The local library gets a grant, very timely, to put together a community archive, and Anura is put in charge of going around the community to different elders, friends, neighbors, and trying to figure out, like, what's the role of a library within a community, the role of an archive, what's the role of a tribal library or a rural library, while all the while connecting with their community and connecting with their grandmother and having a lot of fun. Next slide, please. Here they are admiring the comics in the library. You can see also there's a great incorporation of contemporary tech that middle grade readers will recognize, while also lifting up the book in the library as the main source of entertainment. Next slide, please. I love the blend of like really timely subject matter, right? With all the discussions about library funding, what does it mean to be a Native kid in 2025? But it's also just like this really fun and funny family story that will really appeal to middle graders. Next slide, please. Kirkus called it fetchingly oddball, which I think sums it up really well, much like Ami Moon, very quirky story. Next slide, please. And SLJ called it a fun, frog-filled love letter to Indigenous communities. This is, you can see here, there's this fun little device where they insert quick frog facts to teach about various parts of Indigenous culture that are being represented. Next slide, please. This is a YA graphic novel called Armaveni that couldn't be more personal. It's an autobiographical story. We're selling it as fiction, but it's about 95% based on Nadine's life. Also a debut. It is a book about a modern day girl learning about her family's history and how they came to America, and most importantly, what happened to their family during the Armenian genocide. Her parents kind of have refused to talk about it growing up throughout her childhood, but her beloved grandmother, Armaveni, has passed away, and so she can't ask her what happened to her family. So she finally begs her parents to tell her and to let her go back on a trip to Armenia and to Turkey, which they do. And so this is a book about personal discovery, coming into one's own, coming into heritage, while also being an incredibly thoroughly researched, thoroughly vetted book about a really important historical event. And it has very extensive back matter too. Next slide, please. And actually, I'm just going to ask you to page through to the next slide. And the next slide. So these are some of the contemporary storyline. You can see how beautiful the artwork is. Next slide, please. And then when it goes into the past storyline, telling of the actual stories of the Armenian genocide, you have the border that you're seeing here to distinguish between the two time periods. Next slide, please. And as you can see, it's a very upsetting subject matter, but it's handled perfectly for its age group. Would be a perfect addition to school units on the Armenian genocide. on anything related. Next slide, please. It has a total of 3 starred reviews already. One from Kirkus, who calls it devastating and necessary and searing, a searing graphic memoir that refuses to let genocide fade into silence. It has a star from SLJ as well, and a starred review from Forward, which calls it exemplary, which I completely agree with. Yeah, it's really remarkable. Next slide, please. Okay, and so those are our spring 2026 graphic novels, but I have now the immense pleasure of being able to tease a fall 2026 graphic novel that we are so excited about. You may know Sean Tan from The Arrival, which has sold 500,000 copies worldwide. He won an Academy Award for his short film adaptation of his 2000 picture book, The Lost Thing. He's an absolute superstar, very successful. Every one of us in the office knows someone who's like a massive fan of his, just of their own volition, unconnected to publishing. And we are so excited to be publishing his next book. He's Arthur, the head of our company, have published The Arrival back in the day, and Sean has worked with him ever since. This is, in Arthur's view, the kind of closest thing he's done to The Arrival since then, sort of a spiritual successor. Next slide, please. And it's about a human girl who lives on a strange, beautiful planet full of all sorts of creatures who look remarkable to us, but normal to her because that's what she's grown up with. She has her adopted family there, adopted parents, sister. And this is the world she knows and loves. Next slide, please. One day, a spaceman arrives from the sky, and he looks like her, and he sees her and is like, "What are you doing here, human girl, on this alien world?" Next slide, please. And he tries to convince her to come back to his world with him, where there are lots of people who look like her. He says, "You don't belong here, actually. This is not your hometown." And so there's this kind of tension of what is she going to do? This is the world she knows. This is the family she loves. Also, she's very kind of torn and drawn by the idea that there's a whole community of people that she was actually meant to be a part of, and she just didn't get to experience. Next slide, please. And I don't want to spoil what happens, but it's an incredibly beautiful, very well handled ending. It's kind of a classic Sean Tan exploration of alienation and family and immigration and adoption and home and all of the themes he's known so well for exploring. And it's similar to the Arrival in length. It's for similar age group. We're selling it as middle grade, but it's one of these books that adults will buy, that you could read to younger kids. It's completely crosses age group. It's just kind of a work of art in book form. And The Arrival doesn't have any text, but this book does, and it's spare, and it's really funny and simple and matter of fact and straight to the point. Next slide, please. Yeah, and as you can see, the art is just stunning. So we're very excited about this one. So I thought I couldn't do this presentation without showing it to you, even though it's in September. All right, and that wraps up oh yeah, thank you. There's one more. There's several more. Apparently I couldn't stop adding slides from this amazing book. Yeah, but yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Carrie. I'm loving the enthusiasm for it. Next up, we'll be joined by the team from Yen Press. So Morgana Santilli, her, is the sales specialist at Yen Press. She's a former comic shop manager and buyer, and always particularly loved helping readers find their new favorite series. Other than reading manga, Morgana enjoys drinking lots of tea, snuggling with her 2 black cats, crocheting, and collecting too many books for her children's personal library. Ingrid Lorenzi, her, is the sales and marketing coordinator at Yen Press. A former bookseller and used book buyer at Strand Books, she's an avid fantasy reader and advocate for translated works. Aside from collecting old books and trying to win over her cat's affection, she spends her days scavenging for the best bubble tea places in the city and taking strolls in Central Park. Take it away, Morgana and Ingrid.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, my name is Morgana, and I am the sales specialist at Yen Press. Today, I'm joined by my colleague, Ingrid.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. Once again, I'm Ingrid Lorenzi, the Sales and Marketing Coordinator at Yen Press.
I'm sure many people here are familiar with Yen Press already, but really quickly, just in case you're not, we are a publisher best known for our work in manga. However, we also publish light novels, original graphic novels, Korean graphic novels, and Korean novels, and Chinese novels in translation, as well as originals and works for children as well, graphic novels for kids. But we're very excited to tell you about some things that recently come out and are coming out very soon. So Ingrid is going to start us off. And Grace, if you go to the next slide, please.
All right. Thank you, Morgana. So one of our very first releases of the year was Lily's Bloom in 100 Days, a full-color collection of girls' love goodness. This release comes from Muramaki, an online illustrator who first started the series on her social media account. Think about it like one doodle a day, and then released the entire collection in print. Next slide, please. As an art book / short story collection, this is truly a gem and a celebration of queer love. There are all sorts of couples and situations portrayed. Aquarium dates. Next slide, please. Japanese New Year traditions, spending an afternoon with your gamer girl, and so forth. Student couples, older couples, working adult couples, probably any sort of couple that you can think of. This is inside of the collection. Next slide, please. As we know, Girls Love has been a hit in more recent years, so we highly recommend adding this to your shelves to even add more variety to your graphic novels section. Next slide, please. Now, releasing this week, we have a horror standalone, Hinatsugi-mura. Rural and small-town horror have been a subject of many novels and graphic novels in the latest years. And in this vein, we have a dark manga set in a rural Japanese town. Next slide, please. The story follows an unfortunate group of students who get stranded in this village. Soon, members start to go missing or get rather unpleasant things done to them, such as seen here. Next slide, please. And at the center of this story and all of this chaos, there is a mother and daughter duo who may or may not be demonic entities or all the curses. Fun fact, Hina in Hinatsugi-mura, the title, and also the name of the village, means adults, and adults with their inability to rebel against their master or even times their own mother, feature prominently in both the work and the team. Next slide, please. Overall, Hinatsugi-mura is a work that I recommend for readers who are really into folkloristic horror and like to explore the theme of tragic relationships between mothers and daughters. Next slide, please. Switching tone a bit, but just a bit, because there is a lot of depth and darkness in this next title, we have The Merman Trapped in My Lake. This manhwa, or a full-color Korean comic, is also releasing this week, and it is one of my absolute favorites from our Ice Press imprint, which is only dedicated to Korean comics and novels. Now, The Merman Trapped in My Lake is a romantasy manhwa, and it follows Servain and her twisted relationship with Mel, a merman who claims to know her far more deeply than anyone has ever claimed. Next slide, please. Now, when I talk about The Merman Trapped in My Lake, I need to talk about the art, because to me, it strikes the perfect balance between the fairy tale-esque motifs and elements of the story, but also it really highlights the horrible and obsessive nature of the main leads. It is eye candy, but also serves the new dimensions to the story. Next slide, please. As I mentioned before, while this is a romantasy title, the story has inner darkness to it, thanks to the two obsessive leads. The Servain, who the merman claims to know, is effectively imprisoning him in the first volume, chaining him to her. And while Mal, the merman, once he comes back, He seems very affectionate. We are not really sure if he truly loved the older Servain, if he wants to enact revenge on his descendants, or anything of the sort. He has a hidden agenda, but we're gonna get to know him closer in the next volumes. Next slide, please. The Merman Trapped in My Lake is a manhwa that really fits the dark fairy tale aspects and really popular works that are hitting the shelves right now. And I think that it would appeal to a lot of teens and also older readers that want to explore a little bit of more twisted dynamics. Next slide, please. Also releasing this February, we have Mad Miniscape, a thriller/horror manga. We first talked about Hinatsugi Mura and how it fits the folklore horror label. Mad Miniscape, instead, I would place within the looming entity type of horror. Next slide, please. Mad Miniscape is first presented as a ghost story. You have Minoru, a young boy who first died 4 years ago, and for some unexplainable reason, he comes back. As most ghost stories go, he comes back with demands, and in his particular case, revenge. Now, these will already be scary. After all, it is a ghost story. But the true horror of this story, I find that it is in the bond that forms between the thing that has the face of Minoru and Asahi, the girl shown here, and the one that is claimed to be the dearest childhood friend. Next slide, please. Simply put, these two are codependent on one another. And Asahi displays really all the signs of twisted and obsessive loves, and even sometimes a serial killer in the marketing. So we are then trusted from a horror aspect, the horror element, into a thrilling psychological story. Next slide, please. If you like your family bonds sick and twisted and are fond of a lot of stories that stories that you have characters that cannot really let go of the past, then Mad Miniscape is definitely the release for you. And I'll take it away to Morgana.
Thank you, Ingrid. All right, next up we have The Idol's Escape. This is a standalone manga coming out next week. This story centers on Ainosuke, who's a gay man with a lot of internalized shame and hate. He wishes he wasn't gay, he wishes he was beautiful, and to that end, he is really obsessed and fascinated with an idol by the name of Karen. Next slide, please. In an interesting twist of fate, Ainosuke runs into Karen and ends up saving her from an unsavory date, basically, and brings her to his apartment where he keeps her safe for a little while. And in the process of this, she actually tells him that he is beautiful, he can be beautiful, and helps him feel the way he's always wanted to feel, helps him feel loved and seen. Next slide, please. Unexpectedly, Ainosuke saves Karen in an even further way, releasing her from an abusive situation. However, this act means that they both have to go on the run together. And so the rest of the story follows these two during their discovery of self, their unique love story between these two people with a lot of baggage who are looking for something and finding each other. Next slide, please. I think this is the kind of manga that would really appeal to fans of Oshinoko, which is also about kind of the twisted machinations of the idol industry and of celebrity. It is a single volume, like I said, so one book tells you the whole story. It blends these LGBTQ themes, suspense. It just has a lot going for it. It's a really beautiful, dark, deep story that I think will appeal to a lot of readers. Next slide, please. Switching gears absolutely completely, we have Dungeons That Surely Slaughter Adventures. This is also coming out next week. In this story, we follow Aina and Nacht, who they're having a conversation about how usually people are hit by a car and then reincarnate into a fantasy world. This is a trope very common in Japanese fiction. And the two, they don't get hit by a car. They are instead squashed unexpectedly and reincarnate as the non-player characters in an RPG World's fantasy dungeon. So basically, they're the custodial staff. Next slide, please. You can see them here receiving their orders to clean one of the dungeon floors. This is a really fun twist on these classic isekai or otherworld tropes where you have Aina and Nacht who are getting so invested in this world that they've been reincarnated into that they're actually trying to stump the adventurers and trying to beat them and make them fail as they go through the dungeon. Next slide, please. This is a really wacky and irreverent take on this genre. It kind of reminds me of like original Adult Swim cartoons. There's a lot of kind of naughty humor. It's a little bit raunchy. We have this as rated 16 plus, and I definitely think that's an appropriate rating. There's a little bit of drug humor, so something to keep in mind, but it's a lot of fun, very silly. It really surprised me. Next slide, please. So I do think this would appeal to fans of Delicious in Dungeon, for example, but especially fans who enjoy the humor aspects and the silliness. Again, amazingly fun and surprising. It really took me by surprise, and I love the unique artwork. So I think this is one to keep an eye on, and definitely one for your humor lovers, your comedy lovers. Next slide, please. Our final title today is Keyaki Shopping District Sakura Bathhouse. This is also out next week. This is a wholesome boys love romance, so more LGBTQ themes here for you. The story follows Tatsumi, who is a sociable and well-liked high school student, and who has an unexpected run-in with Shunpei. Next slide, please. Shunpei is literally jumping over a fence here and accidentally lands on Tatsumi. Shunpei has a kind of frightening countenance, so he has a bad reputation for being kind of a bully, even though he's not really a bully. He just looks scary. So people are frightened of him. But in the act of jumping over the fence and landing and trying not to land on Tatsumi, Shunpei sprains his arm, fractures his arm, and can no longer help at his grandmother's bathhouse. Next slide, please. Tatsumi learns that Shunpei is not as scary as he seems when he, steps up to help. He feels like it's his fault that Shunpei got hurt. He comes and starts helping clean the bathhouse and maintain the bathhouse and teaching Shunpei how to be a little less scary. And Shunpei actually confesses to him almost immediately. This is not really spoilers. It happens in like the second chapter. But you find out that Tatsumi, he has a hard time with bathhouses. He does not want to take baths at the bathhouse, and you don't know why. And over the course of the series, these two will come together and we'll learn a little bit more about his background and his baggage around that. Next slide, please. This story is from the author of Minato's Laundromat, which we also publish, and the artist of My Sweet Tyrant. Again, it's a really sweet and wholesome boys love romance. It's great for fans of stories like Sasaki and Miyano, appropriate for teen readers, and just a really great addition to your library, your manga library. Next slide, please. That will be all from us today. Thank you again so much for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact either myself or Ingrid. I also do a kind of B2B newsletter where I have digital review copies available, and other things that I call out, other news and items. If you're interested in joining that, please shoot me an email and I will add you. And that, we're all set. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Morgana and Ingrid. Our final presenter will be Jennifer Chan. Following her passion as a consummate reader and a lover of art, graphic design, and books, Jen began her career working in bookstores soon after graduating college. She moved into the publishing world in 2001, working in trade sales with W.W. Norton, PRH Client Services, and for a number of independent art publishers. She is currently the Executive Director of Sales and Marketing at Fantagraphics Books and has provided us with a pre-recorded presentation today. Let's welcome Jennifer's presentation.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Today I'll be presenting highlights from our spring and summer list. Please note that age ranges are included on each slide, along with the on-sale dates in red. This year, 2026, marks our 50th anniversary. In celebration, we have a strong selection of books for the summer. We're following the same approach that we did for the winter season in that we have curated the authors and titles that best represent our history and publishing program, both past, present, and future. The big news that we have for this season is we are launching a new imprint devoted exclusively to East Asian comics called Takumi Graphics. Takumi is a Japanese word that was suggested by our longtime translator and friend, Rachel Thorne. Takumi refers to excellence, skillfulness, ingeniousness, as well as a person who embodies those qualities. It implies craftsmanship, and it's a character we feel exemplifies the aesthetic caliber of the books that will comprise this imprint, works of mastery and vision. We will be launching the imprint officially with 4 titles starting this spring, summer, and I will be presenting all 4 today. First up, coming in May, is Wandering Cat's Cage by Akane Kutorake. In Torake's latest book, it is the near future. Only a few women are still able to menstruate, and even fewer men will be born to them. Reproduction is limited to medical intervention, controlled from on high. And the structures and lives of the past hold no weight. They are only hinted at through the remaining scraps of a world that no longer exists. Life can be good, though, if you fall in line, and the women of the city live bright, happy, tightly controlled lives. But complete obedience isn't for everyone. For the women across the river who live in a rundown shanty town, viewing the opulence of the city from afar each night, life is different. It is humble and often dangerous, but it is free. It is here that Sanda, a young acupuncturist, lives with the mysterious Raiho, the only male she's ever met, and who sells himself to the rich women who sneak across the river for something they've never experienced. The two form a small family, taking in other young women ousted from the city. But a real, living, breathing male might be too precious to leave to the shabby streets. When Raiho is kidnapped at gunpoint and taken to the breeding program in the city, Sanda must join with the other outcasts to try and rescue him and learn the difficult truths of love, self-actualization, society, community, safety, and the future itself. Master mangaka Akane Kutorake has produced a stunning work of relational SF through a gender-bent looking glass. Torake pulls no punches, examining the deeply messy subjects of our day: sexuality, gender dynamics, romantic love, familial trauma, freedom, and control, through immaculately realized settings and character-rich, emotive body language. Next, coming in June, is Lovers of the Empire Volume 1 by Yudori. We published Yudori's debut book, Raging Clouds, last year to some acclaim. This is another historical fiction drama, but this story is a departure from the previous book in that it takes a much more lighthearted tone. It leans into a coming-of-age story and can be described as an enemies to lovers rom-com set in 1920s Korea. The story centers around a young woman from a well-off family who embraces a Western-style, assertive attitude and Western-style dress. She's a very modern girl who wears Japanese and American-style dresses and navigates her way with this forthright attitude. One day, her father hires as her escort a young man who is basically her opposite. He's a kid from the countryside who's very shy and stoic. So she's a modern woman meeting a traditional man, and sparks fly. Their friendship starts off in this bickering, bantering sort of way as they present to each other from their different social strata. their different attitudes towards life. But as he takes her around town and they experience things together, like going to the movies and to Japanese cafes, they get to know each other and see how they both have similar insecurities and see things that connect them. This developing relationship opens the door for the next 2 volumes to come. This rom-com vibe is the perfect way for Yudori to express her fascination with this time period. As you can see, it's just a beautiful way for her to draw all these amazing outfits and settings, all done in this glorious color, and it has a real depth by setting this story in this fascinating time period of late 1920s and 1930s Korea, a time where you have the traditional sort of Korean values butting up against influences from Japan and in the US. The book illustrates this shifting culture through these 2 young, fresh-faced youths they're thrown into this changing world. This is an exciting new story. It is the first book in a planned trilogy, and we hope this will expand Yudori's fan base. In July, we have Wandering Sun, Volumes 1 and 2. This is an enormously influential and celebrated manga series that we first published in fall of 2011. This series is one of the most requested Fantagraphics reprints of the last decade and a half. We published up through Volume 8, which came out in 2015. The first 4 volumes are completely out of stock and have been unavailable for several years. We're now bringing this back as redesigned, affordable paperback editions. Each book will include 2 volumes, and we are planning 8 books in total, which will go beyond the previous volumes we published. Shimura Takako is one of the preeminent creators of manga that sensitively features LGBTQ+ characters at different stages in their lives. The story depicts a young trans girl named Suji, who develops a close relationship with another transgender classmate, a young boy named Yoshino. The series deals with issues such as coming to terms with being transgender, finding one's gender identity, the onset of puberty, and all the social pressures associated with being young and growing up, as well as being transgender. This is an internationally acclaimed and best-selling series. It has sold more than 1 million copies in Japan. It has been adapted into an acclaimed anime series and has won several literary awards as well. In addition, here in the US, we also nominated our edition of Wandering Sun for its 2012 Great Graphic Novels for Teens list. The 4th book in our Takumi Graphics launch is On Their Front Lines, The Lives of Japanese War Brides Volume 1 by Marina Lisa Komiya. After Japan lost the war, the country was thrown into devastation. No one felt this devastation as much as its women, who were forced into menial jobs, fell into sex work, and pawned off as war brides to American GIs. In their affecting graphic novel debut, Marina Lisa Komiya follows the lives of 2 Japanese women and the American soldiers they marry in this tumultuous time period. Best friends and possibly lovers before the war, Haru and Yoroko are separated in the evacuation of their town during the air raids. As they search for each other afterward, Haru gets by as a waitress, while Yoriko sells her body at a brothel. Their fortunes change when they each meet respectful American soldiers who take their hand. Arthur, a Japanese American, grapples with the inner conflict of his dual identity, while Scott is at once fascinated by Japanese culture and racked with guilt over the destruction American forces have wrought. Amidst the post-war desolation, love and understanding finds a way in this powerful work of manga that explores sexuality, identity, and unlikely cross-cultural connection. Alongside the Takumi titles, this is another lead title for the spring, The End of the Arab of the Future, Volume 1 by Riyad Sattouf. The graphic novel, The Arab of the Future, first came to the US in 2015. It was a major hit far beyond the traditional adult graphic novel market. It received widespread acclaim from the New York Times, the New Yorker, the New Republic, and the Guardian, to name a few. And it received starred reviews from the likes of Publishers Weekly and Kirkus. And it went on to win the LA Times Book Prize and has gone on to sell over 30,000 copies. Rayad is a teenager growing up in the French region of Brittany, where he lives with his mother and brother and attends high school in Reims. But his adolescence is anything but typical. Born to a Syrian father and a French mother, Rayad spent much of his early childhood in Libya, rural Syria, and France, moving through contrasting worlds, political ideologies, and daily absurdities. Years earlier, his father, charismatic, authoritarian, and obsessed with dictators in building a utopian Arab society, abducted Riyad's second younger brother, Fadi, and returned to Syria, leaving behind a fractured family. At 14, Riyad navigates puberty, isolation, and the pressures of French society, while haunted by the absence of his father and brother, and the sadness of his mother. He turns to books, heavy metal, and drawing as refuge. The tone is darkly comic and sharply observant, capturing both the universal pains of adolescence and the surreal contradictions of the 1990s. Blending personal story and social commentary, this standout volume offers a biting, poignant portrait of a young man coming of age in a world that feels both familiar and foreign. The End of the Arab of the Future is the first book in a two-volume series that concludes the critically acclaimed autobiographical graphic novel begun in Arab of the Future. Next coming in June is Love and Desire in the Promised Land. This is a book that explores the intimate lives of Israelis and Palestinians. This was written and drawn prior to October 7th, and it's an incredibly well-researched and sensitive portrayal of a half-dozen couples, hetero and gay couples, and how they navigate the difficulties of the political and social order of Israel and Palestine. These stories are told in first person. The journalist, Salome, interviewed the participants, and then Delupe portrayed the interviews visually. There is a short coda in the back of the book in which the authors interviewed the participants of the story again, revisiting them and asked them how they felt about what was going on. So we have their testimonials about what's happening in Gaza now. Also included in the book is a new preface by the authors that takes into account the horrific warfare that is happening as well. This is a book that is a collection of meaningful, personal, intimate stories that helps us to see the women and men on the other side. Knowing their stories of love and desire makes them human. This book follows in the line of Joe Sacco and other graphic journalism we are known for and not afraid to publish. It's a very generous and very sensitive portrayal of how these men and women navigated their lives prior to October 7th. Up next is the latest volume in our new Lost Marvels series. The Lost Marvels series again delves into the misty margins of Marvel's past to shine a light on extraordinary work that has never or rarely been collected for modern readers. This is the first volume of a compendium of some of the legendary Gil Kane's finest storytelling. Freed from the conventions of superhero battles, Kane's art is a revelation here, capturing in flamboyant, imaginative detail the classic settings and characters of Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book tales, made even more vibrant by the great P. Craig Russell's inking. The Origin of Khazar from Astonishing Tales, and episodes of Gulliver Jones, Warrior of Mars, an adaptation by Kane and Roy Thomas of the seminal 1905 science fiction fantasy novel. Plus, the volume includes a genre-hopping gallery of 100 exciting covers by Kane, who almost single-handedly defined the look of 1970s-era Marvel. And finally, we have the debut graphic novel, The Book of Murmurs by Candace Irwin. This is a YA fantasy adventure in which a young girl must brave a magical world of strange creatures and shivering landscapes to find her missing parents and defeat a monster who feeds off fear. The artwork is incredibly gorgeous, featuring an unusual contrasting color palette, oranges and blues, and flat, sinuous art style. It's as detailed and immersive like children's book illustration, but not so intricate as to interfere with storytelling. This is immersive world building infused with cultural folklore. One of the strengths of the book is that the author is able to balance a sense of wonder and a cute aesthetic with heavy moments of fear and dread. The book has a unique structure. Each full-color chapter of the main story is interspersed with a short black and white chapter in the form of a folk tale, which delves into the lore of the magical world Little Moon is exploring. It's a really poignant touch for fantasy readers who really love this background material. The artist is queer herself, and this book is quite queer-coded, without necessarily being explicitly so. It ties into the whole concept of names in the book, where names confer power, people's names are consumed or taken away, people take on new names to suit their changing identities. A name is also an access point for magic, which is a source of power, but also trauma. The main girl's quest is to shed her dead name and discover the name that feels true to her to reclaim her identity. There's a poignant feminist thread throughout the story. The main character comes from a matrilineal line of powerful witches, whose wisdom is all stored in the Book of Murmurs, the magic tool that allows her to ultimately defeat the monster and make the world whole again. A fantastical tale crafted as supple and strong as spider silk, Candace Irwin's graphic novel weaves together powerful themes of grief, friendship, and identity. The Book of Murmurs takes you on a journey through what it is to be lost and what it means to be found. That's it for me. Thanks again to all who registered and for tuning in. All the titles in my presentation are available on Edelweiss and NetGalley, where you can download digital galleys and previews. Please feel free to contact me if you want to join our catalog mail list or with any review copy requests or questions you may have. I also send out newsletters for both our adult and our children's titles, so please get in touch if you'd like to sign up. And be sure to check us out and follow us on social media as well. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jennifer, and a huge thank you to all of today's wonderful panelists. So tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's video recording, slide presentation, title list, and a certificate of completion. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones like those you see here. You can also find out about the latest webinars on our social channels. Now, Booklist is thrilled to announce that our popular Reader's Advisory Workshop series is back this year. Scan the QR code on the screen or head over to our website to register for this free event on March 18th, featuring 3 stellar 1-hour presentations covering Reader's Advisory for history, a deep dive into romantasy, and an exploration of the 4 cornerstones of reader interest. We hope to see you there. Now, 150 years of empowering library professionals, advancing access to knowledge, and protecting the freedom to read. Since 1876, the American Library Association has embodied America's aspiration for knowledge and democracy championing the professionals who make that promise real every day. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit ala150.org to see how you can join us in helping to shape the next 150 years of libraries. Thank you again for joining us for today's webinar. A huge thank you to our panelists and sponsors, Andrews McMeel, Levine Querido, Yen Press, and Fantagraphics Books. This concludes today's webinar. We'll see you next time.